November 2025, 53,000 elephant seals died on South Georgia Island. That is half the breeding females wiped out in 2 years. Bird flu. And somehow this was not front page news. A month before that study dropped, the US evacuated on Antarctic Research Station August 2025, dead of winter, total darkness. They called it high risk. Here is the thing, planes don't land in Antarctic winter. The cold kills engines. Runways turn to solid ice. They went anyway. July 2025, 1 month before the evacuation, the US government stopped sharing Antarctic sea ice data. Just stopped. Scientists had been using it as an early warning system for climate collapse. Free, public, critical. Then nothing. Look at this timeline. July, data goes dark. August, emergency evacuation. A glacier spits out a body frozen since 1959. October, Russia arrests a Ukrainian scientist over the krill fishing. A research team discovers a carnivorous sponge in waters they describe as scarcely explored. November, 53,000 seals confirmed dead. 6 months, 5 major events. And here we come, December 2025. The ozone hole shrinks to its smallest size since 2019. Sounds like good news, right? That same month, sea ice hit records low. The atmosphere's healing, the oceans collapsing. Same year, between 2021 and 2023, the ice sheet actually gained mass from extreme snowfall. Now it is melting faster than anyone predicted, growing and collapsing at the same time. When was the last time we saw this kind of surge in Antarctic activity? 1947 Operation Highjump. 47,000 men, 13 ships, 33 aircrafts, the largest expedition ever sent to Antarctica. They planned for 6 months. They left after 8 weeks. Admiral Richard E. Byrd led it. When he got back, he gave an interview about threats from the poles. Then silence. 12 years after Highjump, the Antarctic Treaty was signed. December 1st, 1959. Antarctica became a natural reserve devoted to peace and science. The only continent with that status. No military, no mining, no territorial claims. So what were they making peace from? And why 77 years later are we back? August 2026, Norway. The world's top Antarctic scientists are gathering for a conference. The theme, Emerging Frontiers. Right now, Australia's recruiting hundreds of workers for Antarctic operations. Private companies control 95% of all interior access. Something accelerating. I'm going to show you 3 things: the infrastructure that does not add up, the discoveries the ice is giving up, and the timeline that mirrors 1947. By the end, you decide what it means. The infrastructure. Let us talk about who actually controls Antarctica. Antarctica Logistics and Expeditions, ALE, a private company. They claim they have supported over 95% of modern Antarctic expeditions, not 50%, not 70%, 95%. They run Union Glacier, the logistic hub for the interior, the only private camp at the South Pole. One company controlling the gates to an entire continent. White Desert operates luxury camps. Eco Camp sits at 71 degrees 32 minutes 47 seconds south, 8 degrees 50 minutes 11 seconds east. Heated pods on a glacier designed to look like a space station. They fly Airbus A340s business class onto Wolf's Fang runway, a blue ice runway at 71 degrees 31 south. Trips cost $115,500. Now the obvious explanation. Rich people do extreme tourism everywhere. Everest, the deep ocean, space. This could be nothing except for the timing. December 2025, COMNAP, Council of Managers of National Antarctic Programs, renewed its secretariat hosting through 2033. That is not annual planning. That is 8 years of operational control locked in. The Australian Antarctic Science Decadal Strategy runs 2025 to 2035. 10 years plan. We are in year 1. Why does managing a natural reserve require decade-long commitments? The British Antarctic Survey operates Halley VI research station on the Brunt ice shelf. It is mobile. The entire station can relocate. Why build a research station that moves? Official explanation: ice shelf instability, cracks forming, safety precaution. Makes sense unless you're building infrastructure that needs to move closer to something. December 2025, they installed a Royal Mail post box at Rothera Research Station, King Charles III, Cypher. Permanent mail delivery in Antarctica. January 2025, the RSV Nuenia, Australia's icebreaker, delivered fuel, food, and equipment to Maswan Station. They are using modern tractors, traverses, now all-weather access to the deep interior. They can reach places year-round, no seasonal limits anymore. The Australian Antarctic program is recruiting hundreds of workers right now, not dozens, hundreds, for what they are calling polar-powered adventures. COMNAP is planning its 6th search and rescue workshop for 2026. Their 6th one. You don't plan rescues at that scale unless you are expecting casualties or traffic. So here is what we have got. Private monopoly on interior access, luxury camps with space station infrastructure, an 8-year management commitment, a mobile research station, permanent mail service, all-weather traverses, hundreds of new workers, a 6th SAR workshop. That is not research infrastructure. But for what? Climate emergency? Maybe. Resource positioning? Possibly. Or preparation for something the ice is about to reveal. What's waking up? May 2025, Australian Antarctic program starts drilling. The million-year ice core project, 3,000 meters into the ice. That is 2 miles straight down. They are not looking for ice. They are looking for air bubbles trapped before humans existed. According to the project description, this ice contains atmospheric records from a million years ago. But here is what they don't say. What happens if you find something else? The drill team uses the RSV Nuenia as their lifeline. In November 2025, that ship carved through 3.2 nautical miles of fast ice. Fast ice. Ice so thick it is fastened to land. They are drilling in East Antarctica. Supplies delivered in January 2025. Fuel for generators, food for winter isolation, and they are doing it while the data feed is dark. Nobody is watching the ice measurements, but someone's measuring something. October 2025, different team, Southern Ocean. Scientists mapping underwater canyons, predicting ice loss and ocean circulation. Standard work. Then they found carnivorous sponge. They called it death ball. Some expedition. First confirmed footage of the juvenile colossal squid ever. These things can grow to 46 feet. We have seen dead ones. Never filmed a living juvenile. Until now, in waters they call scarcely explored. Here is the thing about those waters. They have been there for millions of years. The habitats did not just appear. The research called these new species. New to us, not new to the ocean. So what changed? Why are we suddenly exploring places we have ignored for decades? We were exploring Mars, Moon, but now we are exploring the ice. Did the ice melt enough to make them accessible, or did something make us look? July 2025. Different study entirely. Scientists publish research. Melting glaciers could unleash volcanic eruptions. The weight of ice presses down on Earth's crust. When it melts, that pressure releases. The paper specifically warns about Antarctica. Ice loss could destabilize magma chambers. Glaciers are heavy, miles of ice, millions of tons. What happens when you lift that weight? What is underneath? Go back to August 2025. A glacier melts, reveals the body of British mountaineer. He died in 1959, the year the Antarctic Treaty was signed. Ice that held him for 66 years melted in one season. The ice kept its secrets, now it is giving them up. What else is under there? What else has 66 years of ice been hiding? December 2025. Ozone hole shrinks to smallest size since 2019. Some scientists tracking that recovery watched sea ice hit record lows. Between 2021 and 2023, the ice sheet gained mass, extreme snowfall. Now it is melting faster than models predicted. One system healing, another collapsing, a third growing and melting at once, all in the same atmospheric system. Does that sound stable to you? British Antarctic Survey scientist Lewis said the magnitude of potential sea level rise is hard to comprehend. Scientists admit they don't know where the tipping points are or how close we are. So let me ask you, if you are drilling 2 miles into ice for million-year-old air, if you are finding carnivorous predators in scarcely explored waters, if glaciers are revealing what they have hidden since the treaty was signed, if volcanoes could wake up when the wet lifts, are you studying climate change or are you looking for something specific? The ice is talking. Question is, what is it saying? 3 possibilities. So what explains all of this? Let me walk you through 3 possibilities. Each one fits some of the evidence. None of them fit all of it. You decide which one makes sense. Possibility 1, climate emergency at emergency scale. The ice is collapsing faster than anyone predicted. Scientists are racing to extract climate data before the archive melts forever. The million-year ice core could tell us where the tipping points are. Lewis warned, the magnitude of sea level rise is hard to comprehend. Sea ice hit record lows in 2025. The ozone's recovering, but the ocean's collapsing. So hundreds of workers, all weather access, 3-kilometer drilling, emergency evacuations when something goes wrong. That is what planetary crisis looks like. But here is what does not fit. Why halt data sharing during an emergency? Scientists called it an early warning system. Why arrest a Ukrainian biologist for supporting conservation? The treaty guarantees scientific freedom. Why does climate emergency requires luxury camps at 115,500 a trip? Maybe there is an answer. I could not find it. Possibility 2, resource positioning. The Antarctic Treaty does not expire, but it has review mechanisms. Some researchers point to pressure on mining restrictions on fishing rights. Russia and Ukraine are already in diplomatic conflict over krill. Krill, the base of entire food web. Private operators now control 95% of interior access. Union Glacier, Wolfsfang Runway, Eco Camp, Wichaway Camp. That is not research, that is infrastructure. CONNAP extended management to 2033, 8 years locked in. The Australian decadal strategy runs to 2035, 10-year plan. You don't build decade-long infrastructure for temporary research. You build it for what comes next. But this does not explain the timing either. Why the 6-month surge from July to December 2025? Why the emergency evacuation in midwinter? You don't position for resources by risking lives. Why drill for million-year-old air if you are securing fishing rights? Again, maybe there is an answer. I don't have it. Possibility 3, protocol. 1947 massive expedition, 4,700 men, 8 weeks abrupt ending. 1959, 12 years later, treaty signed. Continent lockdown. 2025, 77 years later, data blackout, emergency evacuation, body from treaty year revealed. 2026, conference titled Emerging Frontiers. Maybe it is coincidence. The FBI maintains record under unexplained phenomenon and political figures events. Why does a domestic investigative agency track Antarctic phenomena? A glacier revealed, a body frozen since the treaty was signed. Scientists warn volcanoes could erupt when the ice wet lifts. Carnivorous predators appeared in waters called scarcely explored. 3 possibilities: climate crisis, resource grab, discovery protocol. Which one explains drilling during a data blackout? Which one explains luxury infrastructure in a natural reserve? Which one explains the timing? I will tell you what happens next. You will tell me what it means. Forget what happened in 2020. Let us talk about what is already scheduled. February 2026. Right now, deadline for abstract submission to the SCAR conference. Researchers are writing papers about discoveries they have already made. Discoveries we have not seen yet. August 10 through 14, 2026, Oslo, Norway, the 12th SCAR Open Science Conference. Theme: Emerging Frontiers. What frontier? Science? Territory? Something else? COMNAP is running its 6th search and rescue workshop alongside the conference. Their 6th one, search and rescue at scale. You don't plan for rescues unless you are expecting casualties or you are expecting traffic that requires rescue capability. Australia is recruiting hundreds of workers, not for summer, for operations starting now. What requires hundreds of people in winter? The Australian Antarctic Science Decadal Strategy 2025 to 2035. We are in year 1 of 10-year plan. COMNAP management extended through September 2033, 8 years of operational control. They are not planning for next season. They are planning for the next decade. What do they know that requires an 8-year commitment? What is coming that needs 10 years of preparation? Here is something I keep thinking about. Government digital mapping shows errors. The Antarctic Digital Database iframes not supported. Google Earth glitches, but private operators publish exact coordinates. 71 degree 32 minutes 47 seconds south, perfect precision. Business class flights, all weather access. Government climate data goes dark. Private infrastructure, crystal clear. Who is really controlling what we see? December 2025. Royal Mail Post Box installed at Rothera King, Charles III Cipher. Permanent mail delivery in Antarctica. You don't install that for temporary research. Halley VI research station on the Brunt ice shelf. It is mobile. The entire station relocates. Why build a station that knows official answer? Ice shelf instability. Or you need to move it closer to something. 1947 Byrd's expedition ended after 8 weeks. 2025 we evacuated a station in midwinter, 77 years of protocol broken. The pattern is not what happened. It is what happens next. August 2026 emerging frontiers. Is it climate, resources, or something the ice has been hiding since 1959? Environmental lawyer Cormac said Antarctica is too wild for humans to rule. Maybe that is not about nature. Maybe it is about what is already there. Drop a comment, tell me which theory makes sense to you, climate emergency, resource positioning, or discovery protocol. Because whatever it is already in motion.